Hey, yo, what's going on, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Lion, and today I want to talk to you about buying a car during this whole pandemic. I want to see whether or not it's a good idea to buy a car right now. Should you wait a little bit? Should you buy new? Should you buy used? Should you lease a car? And really evaluate all the pros and cons of buying a car during this pandemic and see if there are any opportunities out there today to do that. All right, so first of all, I want to say that I'm really happy to see all of you guys staying healthy and are staying safe during this whole pandemic. With summer just around the corner, it's much harder right now to keep up with social distancing, to keep up with the isolation. And I know that for a lot of you, it seems like this is as close as it gets to the end of the world, but trust me when I say this too shall pass. If history has taught us anything, is that change is the only constant and that nothing is permanent, everything is temporary. And again, this too shall pass, and we are going to go back to living our lives. And with that being said, I know that the pandemic, for the most part, has brought really unprecedented and devastating effects on pretty much the entire world, both on the health aspect as well as the financial aspect. But it's important to mention that every crisis, especially a crisis of this magnitude, always has a flip side. There's always a flip side to that coin, and that flip side usually represents opportunity. And people who are able not only to see these opportunities, but also to capitalize on them are those who are really able to come out on top on the other side of this whole crisis. Now, although I think that there are quite a few different opportunities out there today for us to do right now in order to come out of this whole pandemic even stronger, and I am going to make a video about that in the near future, right now what I want to specifically talk to you about today is buying a car and whether or not there is an opportunity to be buying a car right now. Before we go into all the different options of how to buy a car right now, let's talk about what's going on in the market right now. So for the most part, depending on where you are in the world, we have been in shutdown for the past couple of months now. The quarantine that started in early March or mid-March and is still going on right now in mid-May. So we have been in quarantine for a couple of months now, which means that we haven't been commuting to work. Most of us have been just staying home. Car dealerships have obviously been closed. And what that created is a huge amount of pressure on both automakers as well as the dealers to get rid of that inventory. Now, most dealers in North America have lost huge when it comes to sales in the month of April and in the month of March. A lot of them have lost between 30, 40, 50, and even 60% of their sales. And although the automotive industry is usually a strong industry and is able to overcome some pretty serious hurdles, if we just look 10 years ago, during the whole 2008-2009 crash and the Great Recession, they had obviously a lot of difficulties. But trust me when I say this, what's going on right now is much, much worse. This is completely unprecedented. And within my lifetime, and I'm sure within your lifetime as well, you have never seen a situation where all of these dealerships, along with a whole bunch of other businesses, have been completely shut down for months on end. And what that again is creating huge amounts of pressure on both automakers as well as dealers. All right, so let's talk about the specific reasons that are creating this pressure. So first of all, you guys may or may not know that the springtime is usually the busiest time for car dealerships. This is the time when they sell most of their inventory. This is their biggest months. This is the time when all of these dealerships usually get their new inventory, which most of them have already gotten at the beginning of the year. So they have stocked up of all of that new inventory and new models that are sitting in their lots right now and depreciating on a daily basis. So again, huge amounts of pressure to be getting rid of that inventory. And since nobody right now is buying any cars because all of this uncertainty, not knowing whether or not we're going to have a job tomorrow or if a business is going to stay afloat, this is definitely not the time when most of us just wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to go and test drive a new car today. I'm going to try to buy a new car. This is not something that we're going to do right now. So again, demand is really plummeting right now. Now, the second reason for all of these added pressures on both automakers as well as dealers right now is related to lease returns. Now, usually when you lease a car for 2, 3, or 4 years, you're supposed to bring it back once that lease is over. And now, since we weren't actually even able to go into dealerships and return our cars, most of us got extensions on our leases and are able to keep them a little bit longer. And once dealerships open up again, we're supposed to return all these cars. Now, what that's going to bring is, again, an influx of all of these used cars that are coming out of leases that are going to hit both dealerships as well as the car auctions all at the same time, creating huge amounts of inventory that are just going to drop on the system all at the same time. Now, last but not least, this pandemic, as you guys probably know, has had the biggest hit on the travel and tourism industry. And since nobody's traveling, nobody's flying, nobody's visiting anywhere, car rental companies have just been sitting on millions and millions of cars in their inventory without being able to rent them. And what they're trying to do on their side in order to get rid of these depreciating assets and clearing out their balance sheets, what they're going to try to do is pushing these cars back, either back to the automakers or to car auctions. That's going to create a situation where millions and millions of these used rental cars dropping on the system all at the same time and creating a huge bubble of all of these cars that needs to be sold, but nobody's buying them right now. All right, so now that we talked about what's going on in the industry right now, let's talk about your options here. All right, so the first option is obviously buying brand new or leasing a car. Now, first I want to go on record and say that in my opinion, buying a brand new car or leasing a car is probably not the most financially sound option for you out there. And most of the time, by buying a brand new car or leasing a car, all you're really doing is paying for that car to depreciate in the first 2, 3, 4 years. So unless you're working somewhere or you have a business and you are able to expense most or even all of these new car payments or that lease, I think that for the most part, for the majority of people, this is probably not the best financial option. I know that a lot of you will tell me that, oh, I just like to lease cars because I like to drive a brand new car every couple of years. And I think that for the most part, I mean, I get the appeal. And for the most part, this is not just something about you. I think pretty much everybody, if they are presented with the option, they would prefer to drive a brand new car every couple of years. I would even prefer to drive a brand new car every single day if I could. So pretty much everyone would like to drive a brand new car rather than driving a car for 10 or 15 years straight. Obviously, that's really not an excuse. And I think that if you're looking for a good deal, stay away from buying a brand new car or leasing a car. Although if you're still set on buying a brand new car or leasing a car, there are a whole bunch of different incentives right now offered to you by both car dealers and automakers. So again, because automakers are really feeling the pressure right now and they really need to start getting rid of that depreciating inventory, what they're doing is they're introducing special pandemic pricing and incentives right now, so offering you free car payments for the first X amount of months. So for example, Hyundai USA is offering up to 6 months payment-free cars. They're also offering a lot of payment deferrals, which means that you don't have to start paying for that car today and you can start only paying for that car in the next few months, assuming that the economy is going to pick up and you're going to get back to work and all that, and you're going to start paying for that car a little bit later. And they're also offering a lot of 0% financing right now. So again, a whole bunch of deals out there today. I'm going to put a link down in the description, which pretty much lists all the different deals that pretty much every single automaker is offering right now in the US. So in terms of timing, I think that this is definitely a great opportunity. If you live in the US, this is a great opportunity for you to start shopping for a brand new car or leasing a car right now. Like, most of these dealers are really motivated to sell you that car right now and are going to go even beyond their advertised incentives to really get your business right now. So time is on your side, so don't be shy to even negotiate beyond these deals right now. This is the perfect opportunity and it is a buyer's market. Now let's talk about if you live specifically in Canada. In Canada, I think that this is a great opportunity to be looking for that brand new car or that lease right now. And the reason why I'm saying that is that Canadian car prices are always pegged to the US dollar. And what's happening right now is that because of this whole pandemic, the Canadian government has been printing billions and billions of dollars in order to help Canadians to cope with this whole pandemic. And what that's doing essentially is that it's devaluating the Canadian dollar and it's creating inflation. And the more the Canadian dollar is going to drop, and it has dropped significantly in the past couple of months, and the more the Canadian dollar is going to drop, automakers are going to start as they have before, and they will adjust the pricing of Canadian cars again to be pegged to the US dollar. And what that's going to do, it's going to essentially raise the price of Canadian cars. This is probably going to happen in the next upcoming months. So if you are shopping for a brand new car right now or looking for a lease right now in Canada, I think that this is the perfect opportunity to be shopping right now. All right, so now that we talked about buying a brand new car or leasing a car, let's talk about my personal favorite, and that's buying a used car right now. Again, because of all these leases coming back all at the same time, creating huge amounts of used car inventory on auctions, as well as dealers, as well as car rentals coming back, and the lack of demand right now, what's going to happen is that both auctions and the dealerships are going to be flooded with all of that used car inventory, and they're going to need to get rid of them as soon as possible before they depreciate even further. Now, from my personal experience for shopping for used car deals in the past couple of months during the pandemic and even a little bit before the pandemic, what I see is most dealerships right now really don't know how to cope with this whole situation. Since all of these circumstances are really unprecedented, most of them really don't know how to react to them and how to price the used car inventory at the moment. I think that the next couple of weeks, the next couple of months will really tell whether or not dealerships decide to really drop their prices drastically in order to be able to sell these cars. But as of right now, you still need to go out there and negotiate. Remember that this is a buyer's market right now, and you have to be patient and don't be afraid to walk out of the dealership if you're not getting the deal you know you deserve. Now, what you have to keep in mind right now is that you're taking a much higher risk right now, putting your money into a used car or even a new car right now, because not only there's a much higher possibility today that you might be either losing part of your income or all of your income in the next few months, or even already because of lack of sales in your business, or your employer decides to lay you off in the next couple of weeks or months. So you are taking a much higher risk, putting a big chunk of your money into a used car right now. But not only that, what you have to understand is that used car prices are going to drop substantially in the next upcoming months and even the next upcoming years. So 2 years from now or a year from now, when you're going back to the dealership with your trade-in and you're trying to get what you think you deserve for it, the dealer is not going to be shy and tell you that due to COVID-19, even though your car should be worth $15,000, we will only give you 10 for it right now because the entire market has just dropped in price. So what you have to understand is you're taking a much bigger risk right now buying that used car, and you should be getting a good deal to really be able to factor that in and be compensated for it today. Again, a lot of dealerships still haven't officially came out and said that we're going to charge less for our used car inventory. They obviously are hurting right now and are trying to recuperate as much of these losses as possible by selling it to you at the highest price. But what you have to understand that demand is very low right now, and car dealers can't just use their old sales tactics and just tell you that, oh, that car is going to be gone tomorrow and you should jump on that opportunity and buy it as soon as possible. The truth is that numbers don't lie, and most of the dealerships are using extremely high percentages of sales every month, and they are going to continue losing on sales in the next upcoming months. If you are determined to get a price that's below the market value right now, you are going to get it if you are going to shop for it right now. Now, it's also important to mention that while buying a new car, you're probably going to get a best deal while shopping right now. Buying a used car, you have to understand that time is on your side right now. And while car prices are dropping already, they're going to continue to drop even further going into the summer months and even into the fall. Since more and more cars are going to be flooding all of these auctions, and most of these car rental companies are going to be pushing more and more of their inventory onto the auctions. And while demand is going to stay pretty low because of all of this uncertainty, the pressure on automakers as well as car dealers is just going to continue building up to get rid of all that depreciating inventory. If you can wait a couple of months and really spend time to be shopping around right now, you are probably going to get a very, very good deal. So stay patient and really know that this is a buyer's market and that time is really exceptionally on your side right now. Anyways, guys, that's it for me. Happy shopping. Stay safe while shopping for cars out there. With the internet right now, you don't even have to go into dealerships. You can pretty much do most of your negotiating by email or by phone. So make sure that you stay safe while shopping for a car. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you aren't already. And until my next video, don't forget to stay unchained. Peace.